It was September 24th, 1944, in the midst of World War II. A Japanese fleet of ships were anchored at Coron Bay in Palawan, Philippines. At 0900, dive bombers from the US Navy Forces Surprise attacked the Imperial Japanese Navy, sinking and burning over 20 ships. Fast forward to today, 8 of those ships have been discovered, and we are going to explore these historic wrecks firsthand by diving down around 30 meters and exploring the insides of these wrecks for any signs of the historic carnage that ensued over 80 years ago. This was not an easy task since these massive shipwrecks of up to 170 meters in length, over 1.5 times the length of an American football field, were basically mazes of hallways and corridors once filled with life. It's so dangerous that around a decade ago, there were reports of 2 divers who got lost in the largest of the wrecks, ran out of air, and died. Luckily, we had some of the best dive masters in Coron assisting us with this explore, and with their expertise, we set off for the beautiful islands of Coron, Palawan.
Just playing early. But yeah, we're headed out to the airport to go to Palawan. Oh boy, that was a lot of traffic and driving Zarck just did. Alright, well that was the easiest security I've ever gone through. Boarding passes, check. Bus, check. Wow, our plane is pretty small. Boarding the plane right now on the tarmac, as usual when it comes to these small airlines. This bad boy's gonna take us to, oh my god, that sounded hollow. Hey yo, Palawan, here we come. Finally arrived, y'all. Short hour drive, Jesus. Short hour flight. All I did was sleep. Coron! Here we are, baby! Hey, Zarck, what's the plan?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where are we going to stay?
Where are we gonna stay?
No plan, nothing.
No plan. We have a ticket in, ticket out, that's it.
And the problem is, our ticket going back is in Puerto Princesa.
And then we're trying to hit El Nido too. So
besides the flight to Coron, we really didn't have much planned out ahead of us. So we got in a van and tried figuring things out.
Boom, we made it. Reggae scuba diving. Gotta get our gear and everything first, so here we are. Let out of this thing. Oh my gosh. This is uncharted territory for me. On an island that I didn't even know existed until we came today. In a city or a town that I am completely unfamiliar with no hotel, no rental gear, no diving plans, but we are going to dive. I love these.
So after eating some lunch at a classic Filipino joint, we headed on over to Reggae Diving Center, where we were going to meet our connect for the whole dive and hope they could fit us in last minute.
Alright, so we're filling out the forms and everything with Nico back there. He's the one that is our connect, essentially, from Christian, who is the dive master for our advanced open water scuba diving. They're friends. Either way, we're gonna get history, we're gonna get everything, and check it out. This is the board right here. These are all Japanese warships, by the way. And here's our dive plan.
So Joshua was our dive master. We will meet him on the dive day. And our dive plan was to check out Akitsushima, a seaplane carrier, then Okikawa Maru, a tanker, and lastly Olympia Maru, a freighter ship. It's over an hour-and-a-half boat ride to get to our first destination from the port of Coron, so we had a pretty packed day with 3 wreck dives ahead of us. After we took care of our dive plans, we tried to find ourselves a place to stay.
It is raining pretty damn hard right now. And alright, we're gonna hop in this little thing. Here we go. Tricycle, it's called a tricycle.
So we set off to find ourselves shelter to rest. After getting our hotel, we went for a quick swim, dinner, and some good old-fashioned billiards. And finally, we went to sleep. And then we finally went to sleep.
Whew. Just got up. Oh my god, we snoozed our alarms like 10 times. Really tired. Gonna go get our gear, meet up with the instructor and everybody else. Let's get it!
Before we went diving, we had to try on gear first since we were renting everything.
Alright, so we made it here to the dive shop here in the morning. Alright, let's go scuba diving. Just kidding. We gotta take the boat there first.
Board the bus!
Alright, on the bus right here. Alright, so we're taking this little dinghy out to the dive boat. Woo. Good morning. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning. We made it. Let's go. We got the entire boat to ourselves. It's got a roof deck, back area, kitchen, bathroom, all this entire boat to ourselves. How awesome is that? All for the price of $100. Out here in the beautiful waters of Coron, Palawan. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I want to check out the kitchen and the bathroom actually. Wow, look at that. There's a kitchen on board. That's awesome. I'm the chef right here. Let's check out the bathroom. Alright, that's a working bathroom.
This is the balcony.
Yeah.
So, an hour and a half later, we arrived at our first dive site.
Okay, this is our first dive site. This one is Akitsushima, one of the shipplane tender of the Japanese, sunk about September 24, 1944, since World War II by the US. In-out, penetration, in-out, penetration. This is in-out penetration.
Okay. Alright, for real this time, let's go scuba dive.
In the tumultuous seas of World War II lie a warship known as the Akitsushima. Part of the Japanese Imperial Navy, it operated as a seaplane carrier. So it was basically the aircraft carriers of the time, armed with anti-aircraft guns and equipment to serve and repair planes. The plane the Akitsushima primarily served was called Emily, and the whereabouts of this plane and its wreckage is still unknown to this day. Now, the way seaplane tenders like the Akitsushima worked was very different from what we know of aircraft carriers. Their job was to anchor down and have their seaplane counterparts land in the water and moor to nearby buoys. The ship's crew would then board small boats to service the plane. If repairs were needed, the large crane on the Akitsushima would lift the aircraft aboard where more serious maintenance could be done. The ship, along with 20 others, was sunk by the US Navy in September of 1944. She was hit by 3 bombs and quickly sunk onto its port side at a depth of 33 meters. Lucky for us, our advanced diver certification permits us go that deep to explore the once lively Akitsushima. Our first stop was to see this crane in person, as most of it is still intact. Next, we entered the wreck itself from one of the openings in the hull the bombs created. This was my first time entering a shipwreck underwater. It was otherworldly to say the least. It felt very eerie, being where soldiers used to lively roam about, operating the ship. Instead, now it has been taken over by marine life. So many fish and coral now call it home. We made our way to the engine room, where it was also blown apart, revealing the intricacies of the engine itself and the gears and mechanisms that operated it over 80 years ago. Now, the Akitsushima was actually designed after the very same aircraft carriers and ships that launched the Japanese fighters and bombers that attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941 before the US joined World War II. Fast forward 3 years and the Akitsushima was sunk by US planes in 1944. I won't say much on it as I'm an American and probably pretty biased, but it all just feels poetic in a way, contributing to the ghost-like eerie feeling I got from exploring the Akitsushima wreckage. And with that, we explored around the ship and concluded our first dive of the day.
Damn, that wreck was sick. The visibility was pretty bad, unfortunately, but it was still really cool. We went inside of the ship and saw the engine room and where the machine gun was and everything on the ship. The ship was so big, dude. I think we only hit like a small portion of it.
That's actually one really cool thing about these wrecks and the ocean in general. It's that there are actually so many other ships that were sunk during the battles and wars that there are more wreckages beneath the surface that no one's ever discovered before.
Yeah, so what's important in this battle is this is like the last stand of the Japanese here. Because
this is where their fleet really suffered the most. They were attacked in one end. They were in Manila and they were noticing that Manila was being attacked. They thought they were safe here. And their entire fleet was, they just gathered their entire fleet and then got hit in one shot.
And so this is where like 20 or so ships were sunk. Wow.
I think there's more even, because in the photos, you check the photos, there's like 20 plus ships. But we only found eight here in the south. There's even some in the north, but they didn't find it.
Wow, that's
very
mysterious.
Maybe we'll see one today.
That would be crazy.
You never know, maybe there's one right under us right now. You never know.
The ocean is really highly undiscovered for the most part, which makes scuba diving the closest you can get to exploring a whole other world with so much mystery and uncharted areas.
Alright, so we're gonna have lunch here. Excited for lunch. Honestly, after that one dive, I got so hungry. Apparently that's the thing, you get tired and hungry after diving because of all the nitrogen in your body. At least the tired part is because of the nitrogen. I'm not so sure about the hungry part. I think it's just because you use a lot of energy. But anyway, we're gonna have food.
After eating some delicious sinigang, we got briefed by Joshua on the second dive for the day, the Okikawa Maru, an oil tanker.
So this is the second dive of our trip. It's the Okikawa Maru and it's an oil tanker. Head is 26 meters deep, not as deep as the other one. Hopefully the visibility will be better, but we're actually gonna go like throughout inside this time. Gotta watch our heads. It's kind of just a little sketchy when you do that. And I'm also gonna be holding the 360 camera. If y'all watch to this point, why not consider hitting the subscribe button? You know, it's a lot of work filming these videos, but it's really fun bringing them to you guys to see. And hopefully we'll be able to do more of that in the future. If that sounds interesting at all to you, then stick around, subscribe, you know the drill. But yeah, let's get the second dive on with it.
The Okikawa Maru was actually the largest of the Japanese ships sunk in Coron Bay in World War II. It reached up to 170 meters in length, nearly doubling the prior Akitsushima warship, and was designed to be a tanker, shipping oil and other cargo for the Japanese Imperial Naval Fleet. What was also unique about the ship is that it has a brig that we made our way to first. It gave an eerie reminder of the wartime atrocities that occurred over 80 years ago. This was our toughest dive since we had to make our way deep through a lot of small openings throughout the entire wreck. Due to visibility, it's hard to spot out the entire length of the ship on camera, but swimming through the vast insides of the wreck really puts to perspective the massive length of the ship. But before our last dive, we seem to have attracted some unwanted attention and was boarded by an apex predator.
This is our last dive for today, and this one is a Maru, one of the cargo vessel of the Japanese.
After the briefing from Joshua, we were ready to explore the last wreck of the day.
Let's go.
The Olympia Maru was a Japanese freighter sitting at 122 meters long. It was primarily involved in shipping goods and supplies in the Pacific Ocean for the Japanese Imperial Navy. Its cargo included military supplies, raw materials, and other essential supplies. So this was actually a British ship that was captured by the Japanese and repurposed into a cargo ship. During the dive, we found bricks that belonged to the engineers who built the ship way back when. It's crazy how their names and legacies have been cemented in the ship's wreckage for all these years. What was also unique about this dive was that there was actually an air pocket in the ship. This air is extremely toxic, so we had to keep our regulators in despite it being, well, oxygen. It felt so weird sticking your head into the air pocket. It's already weird being several meters underwater in a shipwreck, but to be surrounded by air, and to think that this air has been sitting here for over 80 years really gets you thinking about the vast amount of time that has passed since this ship's demise. After that, we spent the other half of the dive exploring the marine life surrounding the ship. We saw these massive cabbage patch looking like pieces of coral and what I think is a lionfish. It was super cool to see with my own eyes. Fun fact, the plants that seemed kind of flowy, at least to me, were actually rock hard, like coral. Just something else that really showed me how little I knew about ocean life, besides seeing them in movies and pictures. And with that, we wrapped up our last dive for the day and made our way back up to the surface for some much needed celebration.
1, 2, 3.
Hey! That was our third and final dive of the day. Scuba diving is a lot of fun. It's like, dude, I could just float there forever. Like, it's such a relaxing feeling. It's kind of crazy. Like, you're kind of just like floating there weightless. Like, it's truly like as the textbook, funny enough, described it when I was learning. One of the few places you could kind of like be weightless, you know, besides going to space. Like, there was a moment there where I was just floating and just like controlling your buoyancy with your breathing. It's like you breathe in to like go up, breathe out to go down, and then you kind of like adjust the amount of air in your lungs. And once you master that, once you get a hang of that, it feels so good to just float there, like in the middle of the water. It's so much fun.
I would not have been able to see everything from today if it wasn't for getting over my fear of drowning and the ocean as a whole last week. Every shipwreck we explored is so much history, and the most intriguing part is that most of that history is buried and lost to the ocean. Like the seaplane Emily that was supposed to be stationed with the Akitsushima. Like, where did it go? It's crazy that we only have about 25% of the ocean floor mapped. There really is so much to explore underwater. It really is the closest you can get in our lifetimes to exploring a new world. It's a crazy cool feeling, and I'll let Zarck and I take it from here.
Philippines, let's go! It's beautiful out here. I don't know the word for beautiful. I was taught it.
Napakaganda.
Kapanganda.
Napakaganda dito.
Kapangana dito.
Yeah, it means very beautiful here.
It's very beautiful here. It really is. Kapangana dito.
Grabe guys, napakaganda dito. Vlog takeover. Napakaganda sa lugar na to. Kahit Filipino ako, I know you guys can understand me if you guys are Filipinos. Napakaganda dito. Must visit.
Must visit Coron.
Grabe. Yung puso ko ay nalalaglag sa kagandahan ng lugar na to. It's like my heart is falling.
Because of how beautiful.
Yeah. Natutunaw yung puso ko. Napakaganda dito eh.
Kapangana dito.
I made a mistake for just staying here for 3 days.
Just 3 days. Not enough.
We should stay longer, huh?
Yeah, let's just stay.
Worth it.
Oh my god! Oh! Oh! Oh, I cut myself.